Hey guys, this is Wolvie here. I'm doing a very special video on my mobile titled Which Final Fantasy franchise character closely resembles those from RWBY. Now, I was trying to do this from my digital camera. I do have a new one. However, I don't know what happened. And I was trying to upload this to both my YouTube channel as well as a new channel I've set up called BITCHUTE. Unfortunately, for some reason, it didn't register this video the first time, so I actually had to do a complete reshoot altogether. So, I will say here that all image credits here, as always, go to Rooster Teeth and Square Enix, plus a fan image that I will point out when I get to it. The music credit goes to Capcom, as always, and this is the third stage of Dr. Gates' Lab from Mega Man X6. So, you guys are wondering why this video here? It is because there is a post on Tumblr that actually brings up this topic, although I will be covering every last bit of that post, and there are some stuff within that post that I actually disagree with. Because this is my video, it's going to be my opinion only. However, I will have a description a link in the description below to my actual Tumblr page, plus the links to both Twitter, Instagram, and my Ko-fi page as well. So, with that being said, spoilers are in order. So you have been warned in 3, 2, 1. Now, with Team RWBY themselves, as a team, they closely resemble the Final Fantasy 15 crew because if you look at RWBY and company, they have a specific role, and you can actually see the same thing for Final Fantasy 15. And like I said, I am recording this strictly from my cell phone because I don't think I can really trust my digital camera on this, especially with the memory card, which I may have to swap out the memory card pretty soon. So, if you notice that in Final Fantasy 15, you have at least 3 of the 4 characters of the men actually having a somewhat of a specific role. Prompto being a support, Gladiolus being the tank, and you get Ignis being a bit of a strategist. So, and then you get to see here with RWBY, Weiss being a bit of the support person, Blake, I wouldn't say Blake, Yang being the closest thing to a tank, and then you have Blake being a bit of a strategist all around. So, there is that. With Team Sun, I tried my best to get the images here. They are actually interchangeable with the Final Fantasy 15 crew, but also the original Final Fantasy because it's like we don't know a whole lot about the backstories of the Final Fantasy 1 team, and then of course the whole thing with the gender thing. So that's that on that. As for Team Cardinal, they closely resemble the disciplinary committee from Final Fantasy VIII, which consists of Cypher, Raijin, and Fujin. And you notice here the image I used for the disciplinary committee, that's actually the fan-made art, and you'll see a watermark at the bottom of the image. So, the credits to the individual artists who made up this amazing sketch. Now, with Team Juniper, I'm going with the one before Pyrrha's death here. And then I'm going with Final Fantasy V because in Final Fantasy V, Galoof actually dies by Exstat's hands trying to protect his teammates, and Pyrrha had died at the end of Volume 3 under similar circumstances. With Team Ranger, which is RWBY, Nora, Jean, and Lai, as well as Team Junior, which is the surviving trio of Jean, Nora, and Lai Ren, they are the closest to Final Fantasy VII. Again, this is my personal opinion. Just the thing, you're going from one type of group to a completely different group, it makes the most sense. Now, for the individual characters, I'm going to start off with the quote-unquote star of the show, Ruby Rose. And believe it or not, I am using Claire Lightning Farron for the character being closest because these two actually go through an obscene amount of changes. Because you think, with Lightning, you think she's just this pure asshole, but she really has a gentle side to her, In 13.2, she becomes a completely different person, but in Lightning Returns, she goes back to a bit of a variant of her old self, but some parts of her from 13.2 remain. And the same with RWBY, you think she's a bit of a ditz, all that stuff, but Volume 6 is where she starts to really change things as a person, and she'll eventually become a bit of a true badass. Weiss Schnee. Now, you guys are probably going to be thinking, Rydia? What the fuck? Now, with Rydia, she likewise could become a completely different person at their respective states. With Rydia, she actually retaliates against Cecil and Kane after the package they had destroyed her village, and the package contained a bomb. With Weiss, it's like she has this bit of sort of hatred for the White Fang, which includes Faunus, due to the fact of their role in how the people she cared about were disappearing for whatever reason. However, they meet up with the people who were considered their enemies, and they in part is because of that they've changed for the better. And I love Rydia to death. Ha! So anyway, we're gonna go to Blake Belladonna. Now, the fact here with these two is that Celeste's backstory actually is the closest to Blake's. With Blake is that she was once part of the White Fang. However, some varying circumstances had her leaving and doing something and changed. So she went from she went from being part of the White Fang to being a huntress. So going from the bad to good. Celeste is the same way. She was part of the Gestalian Empire, and she was in charge of an attack that destroyed a town that was close to Loch Cole. However, it was because of her speaking out against the water poisoning in Doma that had her sentenced to death, resulting in Locke saving her. With Blake, it's similar circumstances with her relationship with Adam Taurus. Adam Taurus was about to kill her before Yang Xiaolong stepped in to intervene, which costed Yang most of her right arm. Now, speaking of Yang Xiaolong, she actually is the closest to RWBY Yunfeng from Final Fantasy XIII. And that was a frame that kind of just slid off in case you guys are wondering. Now, with Yang Xiaolong, she has what's known as post-traumatic stress disorder, going from volumes 4 to now. With RWBY Yunfeng, she has similar symptoms stemming from her past as Ragnarok. So if you guys haven't paid attention to Final Fantasy XIII, the trilogy, it is towards the very end where Yang actually caves in and transfers into an incomplete Ragnarok, which actually resulted in the separation of Lightning, Snow, Sans, and Hope from her and Vanille. And after it was all said and done, Ving was distraught and betrayed over the matter. With Yang, I mean, again, it's the whole thing with the incident with Blake and Adam, and since then there is some unresolved tension between Yang and Blake. Now, when it comes to Nora Valkyrie, the first person that comes into mind is Yuffie Kisargi from Final Fantasy VII. They're short, full of mischief, and lots of fun to be around. That's all you guys need to know. But even with that said, they both will not hesitate to speak up in case some bullshit injustice comes to light. And with Yuffie, she wants to bring Wutai to how it was before it became a tourist attraction. And with Nora's, like, she got really pissed at late in Volume 5 after seeing Ren, a dear friend of hers, getting badly hurt, which also had seen Weiss getting badly injured and Yuffie falling unconscious from using her Silver Eyes abilities, prompting her to take action to do what's right. With Jean Arc, the only person I can think of that closely resembles him is Warrior Light from the original Final Fantasy. Having morals and virtues to stand up for what's right to help others, kind of puts these two as one and the same, in my opinion. And with the fact that Warrior of Light, when he gets into that knight status, he actually gets varying white magic abilities, which includes the ability to heal a little bit. So you notice very late in Volume 5, Jean also finds his ability to heal. Pyrrha Nikos, Aerith Gainsborough, these two are one and the same. They both stood up for what was right, but wound up dying in the end for the cause. However, their memories and what they stood up for live on in those who are alive today. So that's all for these two. And then we got Squall Leonhart and Lai Ren. Neither of these men are of many words, especially with Lai, who, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain why, but these two don't say a whole lot. However, they have some profound things to say when the opportunity strikes. Crow, Branwyn, and Cesar Gabbiani are the closest to each other because they've had their share of misfortunes and they love to drink. With Cesar, it's Celeste that stamps him out of his stupor to get him to join the cause again in the world of ruin, and you could say similar situations for Crow. With Raven, Crow's twin sister, she closely resembles Golbez from Final Fantasy IV. They started out bad, but they both go on a path of redemption, even though Raven's path remains to be seen. Although Golbez really does become a good guy in Final Fantasy IV the after years. Taiye Xiaolong and Sans Catsuri closely resemble each other because of the jokes, comic relief they provide to their respective series. And that, I mean, when it comes to Taiye specifically, he's probably more prominent in Volume 4. You don't really hear much of him at any other point. But with Sans, it's like he's in and out, but he's never a major character of some sorts. Cinderfall and Kefka Palazzo, these two get stuff done. Even though Cinder's current state, she's not with Salem's and the rest of the crew. Kefka becomes a bit of a lone wolf throughout Final Fantasy VI. He gets stuff done, people die, he eventually becomes alone in the end. Salem, she mostly resembles X-Death, partially because there are two forms X-Death has. The image you see here and that of as Neo X-Death. Then you see here, Salem has her life as a human, then life as a demon of sorts. I mean, that's just me putting it kindly. With Hazel, he closely resembles Caius Ballard from Final Fantasy 13-2 and Lightning Returns. With Caius, he has to suffer the whole thing of Yul dying over and over again. And this is where he becomes evil. You can say the same thing with Hazel. His younger sister died, which was mentioned by Aspen late in Volume 5. And Aspen was actually blamed, and the type of pain that Hazel has is something that cannot be recovered fully. Seymour and Arthur Watts, I mean, due to their personalities, all that, this is why I put these two together, because it's like, Arthur, he was a little tough to make a call, but I was thinking maybe Seymour, so this one is a bit of an open one. If you guys want to put in the comment section below as to who you think Arthur Watts closely resembles from the Final Fantasy franchise, please do let me know. This is my personal opinion. These are the two I feel are the closest. I could be way off here. Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII closely resembles Adam Taurus. They want to make humans pay. In Adam's case, it's because of how badly the humans treated the Faunus. For Sephiroth, it's because how humans treated his alien mother, who was named Genova. So they just want to... So with all that in mind, they have killed people for it. For it to achieve their goal. Sun Wukong and Tidus from Final Fantasy VI closely resemble each other because of their personalities. Sunny, cheerful, happy-go-lucky. This has nothing to do with the storyline from Tidus at all, but he's one of those people who likes to make people laugh and smile. And you can say the same thing with Sun, particularly when he's around Blake. As for Maria Calavera, she closely resembles Auron from Final Fantasy X, for the main reason is that they were like a much better condition from a long time ago. However, varying circumstances have them in their current state. With Maria, she lost her eyesight in battle. And then with Auron, I mean, he likes to drink, all that stuff. And you can see him in this current state from an unknown, from varying circumstances that we all know and love. Aspen, he is closely like Yule, of all people. They die, they reincarnate, and die again. There's no real knowing when Oz will finally be set free, as well as Yule. Now, this is going to become a bit of a surprise to everybody, but this is the one character we don't know the actual fate of, Summer Rose. I'm putting her with Jet from Final Fantasy X because I have a very distinctive feeling that Summer Rose will emerge alive in a much later volume, which will force RWBY to kill her. And if you remember from Jet, he was part of Auron's team, and during the events of Final Fantasy X, he became a monstrosity, which Tidus was forced to kill. And if it is found out that Summer Rose does have to be killed by RWBY in a similar fashion, this will become the most heartbreaking thing for RWBY, although it will be necessary. So with that all being said, these are my future videos right here. I do have one coming up on the City of Final Fantasy Opera Omnia Global First Anniversary, thoughts and hopes. The current state of Square Enix, are they in trouble? And this is a two-part video. Part 1's going to be postponed to March. The second part may be July or later. It's going to be a two-part video of getting to know me. You guys ask me questions, I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. The fourth one is called RNG Unlock, how these factor in what players get in mobile gadget games. This is something I've actually come the closest to actually figuring out how it's actually done. Then I'm going to do another video on my cell phone, of course, RWBY Volume 6 Revisited. This will revisit a previous video I did on the review and predictions, and in that video I'm going to have some ideas of what Volume 7 is going to cover, like, on an overall level. In the description below, I will have not only my Tumblr page, I will also have the links to my Ko-fi if you guys want to send me a financial tip, my Instagram handle, as well as my Twitter handle. And like I said, I do apologize for filming this on my cell phone. I had to look at my digital camera, figure out what's really going on, and I will catch you all on the flip side.